Hi everybody, this is Brayband again. I am going to move on to target 3 in our chapter about rationals. So target 3 is going to be solving rational equations, which means we're going to have an equal sign right here. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we can try to figure out what x can be. So if I substitute a number into here that I find and solve for, hopefully when I substitute that in and combine my fractions, I'll get 10/14. That being said, there is a different set of steps on going there, so if you're not just guessing on checking what you're putting in. So what we're going to do is it's going to work out really nicely. We're going to find an LCD, but we're not just going to do the left side's LCD and combine. We're going to do all 3 of these and try to decide what that LCD is. Because if I multiply by all that LCD, you're going to see these beautiful things like the denominators. They're going to divide out. So I got to pick a common denominator between 4, 2, and 14. A lot of times if you're confused on how to find the LCD, remember, start with the biggest one and then just start asking yourself, okay, could I use 14? Because 14 times 1 is 14. No, that's never going to change to 14. That will, but 4 doesn't. So go to 14 times 2. That'll give us 28. Does 4 go into 28? Yes. Does 2 go into 28? Yes. Does 14 go into 28? Obviously. So we are going to choose 28 for our lowest common denominator. Now remember, the other name for lowest common denominator is least common multiple. Multiple tells us what we're supposed to do with it. So I'm going to take each part and I'm going to multiply every fraction by 28 over 1, by 28 over 1, by 28 over 1. Notice that's different than the steps earlier when we were adding. Purpose is we want to reduce this out. So if we look at this, I'm going to write it a little differently. We've got 28 over 1 times 3 over 4 plus 28 over 1 times x over 2 equals 10 over 14 times 28 over 1. Now the beauty of this is, look right here. We could divide those out. And when I do that, the 3 is going to stay as is. The 4 is going to divide out of itself. It's going to turn that into a 7. Do you notice this denominator now is just 1 and it's really just gone, which is really, really nice. Let me scooch up a smidgen so you can see that. Sorry for working so far away. This guy over here now, look at this. This 2 is going to divide out of itself, divide into 28. That's going to be a 14 up there. So 14 times x is 14x. Bring that equal sign down. Try it again here. Look at this. 14 divides out, goes into 28 twice. So now we have a 10 times a 2. So do you notice all those denominators are gone? Which is so nice because now this is back to an Algebra 1 problem. 21 plus 14x equals 20. And now we're just going to solve like usual. So the rational work is done up here with all that LCD and canceling, dividing. And now that we've got that taken care of, we can just solve like normal. So I'm going to subtract 21. That'll be 14x equals -1. X is going to equal -1. Now what we've got to do, divided by 14, what we got to do here is, if you think you're done, before you circle it and say Yahoo, you have to go up to the denominator, and if there's any letters there, check. You have to talk about what we call exclusions and extraneous answers. This problem does not have variables in the denominator, so that means we're okay, we'll never have an issue, and we can just take our answer as is. So we want to wait for the warning, but it wasn't really a problem, so we didn't have to worry about it. I'm going to go on to the next problem. Top right of your page. 1 over n equals 1 divided by 5n minus, now you've got a little bit of a messy fraction here, so we're going to have to be careful, n minus 1 all over 5n. Okay, so the reason I get a little nervous, as you know, is that sign makes me kind of crazy. So I'm going to add the opposite, but since this is a quantity, I'm going to put that in parentheses and take care of that in a little bit. So again, you are solving for n. Now here's the deal. Do you notice that these n's are now in the denominator? Okay, we got to be careful because anytime you have a denominator with a letter, that means there's a potential that a number could go in here and change this to 0, which we do not want. So we're going to warn everybody as they're working to be careful because you don't want any of those to turn into 0. That means n can never be 0. And we're going to take care as we solve. If that does happen, we're going to tell people what that means. So just that means hang on, be careful. All right, so now we're going to go back and we're going to look for an LCD. My lowest common denominator, or in other words, my lowest common multiple, is going to be 1 of everything. I need an n. I don't need a 5n because I already have an n, but I do need that 5. So I want every denominator to be 5n. So the deal is, if I'm just going to multiply each fraction by 5n over 1, by 5n over 1, let's squeeze this right here by 5n over 1, what's going to happen is, again, we're going to have things reducing. So let me rewrite this. Those are going to reduce. 5 is left behind. Let me rewrite this one. Look, 5n reduces, leaves that 1. Oh, merciful heavens, can you go? Yes, 5 times 1 is 5. Plus, plus, plus. Now look here, before you get crazy with distributive property, do you notice that 5n, even though it has a negative, is right there? This group we'll take care of later. But this 5n, do you see that and that? Those are going to divide out, but be careful, you're going to leave a negative 1 there with this group. So when I start working it out, I'm going to have to be careful there. But the beauty is, look, gone, gone, gone. All denominators are gone. And now, again, I'm back in algebra 1. I just got to be really careful with distributive property here. Negative 1n. Again, a negative 1 times a negative 1 is a positive 1. Hallelujah. Look, rational expression is now much simpler. Back to algebra 1, and now we can finish it. 5 equals, we got a 1 and a 1 is a 2, plus negative 1n. I'm going to move my 2 by inverse operations. That'll turn into a subtraction on a 3. Goners. Leaves me with a negative 1n. I can divide by negative 1. So my answer is negative 3. Now, what you want to do, again, it's warning, warning, warning. You have to check for extraneous solutions. So you want to go back up to each denominator. Does that turn it into 0? Absolutely not. If I put negative 3 in here, nope, not going to turn into 0. If I put negative 3 into that, nope, not going to turn into 0. So we avoided this situation, so we're okay. We did our quick check. There's nothing to be worried about. No extraneous solutions. We are done. There's our answer. So I am going to do one more for you, and then I'm going to leave one problem for you to do by yourself. So if you watch, I'm going to go to the bottom left now. A little more complicated. 1 over x squared plus x. That's a little messy. I'm probably going to have to factor that. Plus x minus 1 all over x equals 1. Okay, so this is a little messy for me. So I'm going to factor it off to the side here because I'm imagining, since it's so many terms, that if I factor out an x, now look, I have an x and I have an x plus 1. I'm going to need both of those. This is my LCD now. It tells me what's missing over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pieces here to multiply both pieces rather than using the long one. So I'm going to multiply this by x squared plus x because I know it's the same thing as what I have here. And remember, my goal is to make things reduce. Over here, though, I'm going to use the separate factors. Put that in parentheses. Let me give myself a little bit more room here. I'm going to multiply by what I just found, x times x plus 1. Now, you got a lot of mess going on here. If you look, you got a lot going on. You have the old stuff, new stuff, new stuff. Your goal is to hopefully cancel, so reduce. So look there, that's going to go away. So we're just going to be careful now. These are going to go away entirely and leave the 1. This is going to be the plus sign here. Those x's are going to go, but we're going to leave x minus 1 that was there from the beginning. And now, again, remember these are reduced. We got an x plus 1. And remember the other side of the problem was equal 1. So we've got to multiply that by the LCD. So remember I moved my 1 over. That means I still had to use what was already there for our new LCD. Okay, so denominators are goners, yay! 1 plus, now this, be careful, go back to old school multiplying, double distribution. X and x is x squared. The middle terms, -1 and +1, are going to go away. Difference of 2 squares. Going to write minus 1 equal x squared plus x. And now the denominators are gone. I can start to move things over. When I see x squareds, I think of quadratics, and I really want everything on one side of the problem, so I can set everything equal to 0. So I'm going to move slowly here. I'm going to move x squared to both sides. That's going to get rid of those. So now I have 1 minus 1 equals, oh, look at that, x. Oh, but look, hey, everything went away. So I've got x equal 0. But remember, we have to have a warning check because we don't want our answer to turn this back into 0. So if you go here, that's going to turn into 0. No can do. We can't do this. So this is going to say, oops, we call this extraneous. Not going to work. We cross it out. There's no other answer that we found here. And so we're going to say that this whole problem has no solution. And we are done. That leaves you with one other problem. Try it on your own. Talk to us in class. And we'll go from there. Hopefully that worked. Remember, again, you're trying to multiply by the LCD to each part, so that in the end there's no denominators because they all reduce out. And you always check for your extraneous solutions, which this one had. Thanks again. Bring up your questions in class if you got them. Bye.